Yo, yo, yo. I just want to say this is Ken from CMXtreme Grills, and this turkey was bussin'.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Hey guys, Ken here from CMX Outdoors, CMX Power Sports, and CMXtreme Grills. I had a few requests on what I'm doing this Thanksgiving for my turkey. So I'm just going to go through today with you guys how I prep, how I cook, all the things turkey-wise that I do on Gobble Gobble Day. I'm going to take you out to the grill. It's going to be really cool. We're going to give you some updates as the cook goes on. And you guys are going to see from start to finish what I've done. So I'm going to start here just by telling you what I did last night, which is obviously before this video that we're doing here today, just in preparation. I always brine my turkey. Now, there's many turkey brines out there. There's many chicken brines out there that you can use on the market. Many, many good things, or you can make your own. I really like this Sucklebusters Area51 bird brine. The nice thing about this kit is it's got actual herbs and spices in a pouch separate from your brine mix. That's really cool. You boil those into a pot of water. All the instructions are on here. It's very simple. It smells wonderful just cooking the spices up. But what you do is you follow the instructions on here. You cook up those herbs and spices, you let everything cool, and then you double up the water amount with ice and you mix in your brine. And then they supply a bag that you put this all into with your turkey. Fortunately for me, or unfortunately, either way you look at it, my turkey has no hope of fitting in this brine because it's kind of like an ostrich. So I'm going to start getting things ready to go here, and then I'll get back to you guys with the next stage. Again, this brine, they say overnight. They say usually 24 hours. There is an indicator time per pound on this package. Personally, I just go with overnight or 24 hours or whenever I'm ready to cook because I don't like to overcomplicate things too much. Okay. Just before I pull the turkey out of the brine here, guys, I just wanted to go through what I'm going to use this year. This is the recipe that I'm going to have at Thanksgiving when my family is here. I like to do an injection. I do a brine along with an injection, especially with a bird that's 24 pounds like I have, because it is easy to dry a turkey out on a smoker, as we all know. I'll go through the temperatures and everything when we're out there. But what I like to use for my injection is this Motley Q poultry injection. It really infuses a lot of good moisture into your meat, especially the breasts while you're cooking. It allows the meat to expand and then contract, but retain its moisture while you cook. This year, I'm going a little bit different. Usually I'll use like a clucker dust or a poultry rub. This year, I'm going to go with Heath Ryle's garlic butter as one of my dusts and the Gospel barbecue rub from Meat Church. I haven't done this myself. I've heard this one is great on poultry. Turkey, chicken, doesn't matter. This one I'm putting in because I like to have a little color on my skin on my turkey. Hopefully that works out. A lot of people will go ahead and just dust their turkey or their bird, their chicken wings, whatever have you. Personally, I'm a fan of actually using pure mayo as a binder. That really gives a nice juice to the skin, but also keeps it crispy. Today, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to use duck fat on my dry turkey to bind my spices to it. Let's really hope it works because that's the first time I'm trying it. I've heard it's great, but we'll give it a go. Next thing is I'll pull the turkey out. Guys, I think this is going to be great. I just pulled the lid off of my obviously sterilized and clean container to take a look at this ostrich I have in there. It's a turkey, but it's big like an ostrich. You guys, you can't believe the smell that Area 51 bird brine is putting off right now. I just had some of the crew come and have a smell. It's going to be looking a lot like Christmas here. Ugh. Okay, I'm putting it back up for a reason. To start with, I got brine right in my glove. My glove's full, hold on. I went too deep into the murky waters. Ooh, yeah, now my hand's a little wet. It's harder. Okay, so my next step is I just wrangled this big, huge turkey out of my brine. The next step that you guys are going to want to do, keep paper towel handy when you're doing this. To me, it's an important step. You want to dry off the skin of your bird. The reason for that, there's two, I guess. One, the flavor gets right down to it, and your binder is what you choose. It's not just water holding it there. Likely you lose some of your spices and things like that when it's just water. Something I do want to mention is you guys are going to notice that this bird is kind of upside down to the traditional way of cooking it, and that's absolutely for a reason. The reason is so that I can get this side of the bird sprayed down with my duck fat, seasoned with my seasonings. Then I can flip it because the back is not quite as important as keeping the flavors in the breasts, which you're going to cook breast up. I just do it this way so I can get the bottoms of the legs, the bottoms of the wings and everything, and I'm not trying to essentially throw spices at the bird, especially when you've got a big monster like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and dry it off. I'll do one flip and then I'll flip it back over and show you guys how to season her up, okay? Yeah. Oh, man alive. Ugh. You guys, you got to understand how heavy this thing is. It's like a dog. It's like a dog or something. Get the puddles out of the middle. Okay guys, so I always prep my birds right beside the sink. There's a reason. Even though you wear gloves, all us guys in these grilling videos, we all wear these fancy gloves, and it really gives people a false sense of everything's clean. I'll actually wash my hands a few times in between and use the same gloves, but I'll wash the gloves, not my hands. Main reason for that is from a food and safety standpoint, you're not getting any of the fats or skins or anything like that of the animal under your nails. Sometimes people just don't wash under their nails as well. So I think that's where this came from. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start to season the back of the turkey. As I said before, I'm gonna use duck spray as my binder, duck fat. We're gonna see how this works. Like I said, it's a first for me. So I'm gonna get the back and the sides as well as I can get them at this angle that I'm gonna flip her over. Then we're gonna start the injection process. Then we're gonna inject the bird, and I'll go through a couple of other things here that I've got set up for in the smoker so that you guys know what we're doing. You probably see this pile of fruit here. I am not doing a stuffing bird right now. I like to stuff my birds with fruit, and the main reason is those flavors and that steam and all of that stuff that comes out of those fruits goes into your bird and essentially steams from the inside out, which also helps keep your breast meats and all of that stuff moist, sliceable, and extra yummy. So that's why I do it. I'll always use apples, pears, oranges, whatever you have in the fridge. Just don't use lemons or limes. I'm gonna go ahead and get some duck fat spray on this bad boy. This should make for a really nice skin is what I'm told. Get every little bit that we can here. Give them a little deodorant. That's me being funny. Now, I'm going to wash my hands a little bit. Okay, so I find when you're doing poultry or brisket or anything big that you're gonna cook, it's always good, you think you've got enough seasoning on, just put a little bit more, because this thing is gonna suffer in the grill for probably, I don't know, I'm guessing 6 to 8 hours. It's a big boy. And I'll go over temperature and stuff when we get out there, how we're gonna do that. But essentially, rubs, you don't really rub them on stuff like this. You kind of sprinkle them on and do your best to get good coverage on everything that you can. Kind of like when you bath your dog or something, make sure the arms come out and everything gets covered as well as it can. So you can see the color of this garlic butter one is kind of a yellowy kind of, I wouldn't say yellowy, but kind of a peppery and garlicky kind of look. I'm hoping my plan with the Meat Church Gospel gives me the color of skin that I like, because I'm pretty picky about the color of the skin of my birds. I like them to be a kind of a picture perfect kind of thing at Thanksgiving or Christmas or whenever you're doing it. So I'm gonna do a double season, as again I said with the Meat Church Gospel. People use this for pretty much everything everywhere. And I think that is going to give me the perfect color that I'm looking for now that I'm seeing it go onto the meat. You do make a little bit of a mess when you're seasoning a bird this big, but it's okay. Everybody will forgive you when they eat it. Or they'll make you clean it up, in which case, whatever. Maybe you don't feed them. Okay, so I'm gonna do a flip on her now. That's good enough for the back because generally we're not eating the back skin. Ugh. Let's just see if this guy is gonna be able to hog ring. Yeah, probably. We'll tackle that in a minute. I did notice that after he sat upside down, he got a little bit wet on his breast again, just some water from the brine. I'm gonna give him one more pat off just to be safe. Again, we're gonna go with our duck fat. You guys, it's kind of hard to tell in the video, but I can tell you that this little trick that I was told about, this duck fat, this particular one, and of course we carry it at CMX, is giving like a super shiny, sheeny, even cover to this. And what I saw on the other side of this bird, it's really adhering our spices and our rubs to this very well. So I am so far impressed. We're gonna see what happens when she gets on the smoker. Okay, here we go. Okay guys, we're gonna sprinkle this eaten side of this bird a little bit. Like I said, fairly liberal. You're gonna sweep your kitchen after this, I'm sure. I like to get it down everywhere I can. Armpits, outsides, everywhere we can. Again, trying to get it everywhere you can. And once you get your bird all seasoned, guys, it's best to try not to mess around with it too much, because it sounds like a funny little thing and maybe not important to some people, but if you mess around with it too much and you mess these seasonings around too much, what's gonna happen is your skin's gonna look different in spots when the time it's done. So I like to keep it all even and not mess around with it after I've seasoned it too much. Kind of making it even, making it look as pretty as I can, whilst getting the flavor onto it everywhere I can. Again, it looks like a messy process. It kind of is, but like I said before, it'll be worth it. She'll be a pretty bird. Okay, now next thing I'm going to do is, like I talked about before, I'm going to take all these fruit that I sliced up here. I'm going to throw them all into the bird. Like I say, choose something fruity, choose something sweet, choose something with some really nice hues that you can throw in there. And I like to stuff it as full as I can. That packed fruit in there just seems to really give you that extra moisture from the inside that a lot of us miss when we do stuffing or when we throw things like that into a bird, right? You've got a big moisture sucker when you throw stuffing. So personally, I prefer not to put stuffing inside the bird. I'm used to a little bit smaller of an animal. This is quite big. Okay, I'm gonna get one more tool and I'm gonna show you guys one more thing for that picture perfect bird. It's just gonna take me a minute. I'll be right back. Okay guys, another thing that I really like to do for a picture perfect turkey is I like to hog ring my wings up to the breasts. This is fairly large, so you're gonna have to wish me luck that this works. It works really well in a smaller bird. But what we have here are food grade stainless steel hog rings. And then you just have yourself a hog ring plier, which you can pretty much get anywhere. You load up your hog ring into the plier like so. You find the best place where you feel like you have the least amount of tension on your wing that it will actually grab. You gotta get through one side, stick it in the meat, and give her a hog ring. Not too tight or it just rips through the skin. So this is the idea. Hopefully it holds. I'm not sure it's gonna because it's such a large bird, like I said, but we're gonna give that a go. Gonna make him hold on to himself basically here. These hog rings are super sharp, so be very careful when you're using them, please. I got a feeling when we start cooking that is gonna come out. But it looks good for now. If it comes off, it comes off. We're still gonna have a pretty bird, I think. Man, it's hard to hang on to. It's all greasy. There we go. Make sure when you carve your bird after this, you account for all the hog rings that you put in have to come out. There would be nothing worse than Thanksgiving with people with hog rings in their mouths getting mad at you. There we go. There, I think that's gonna hold, guys. I guess before we do take this out, I almost forgot we need to inject it. That would have been a big fail in YouTube land, and I know you guys all would have commented. Thought you said you were going to inject it, so we better inject it here. So again, this is the Motley Q bird injection, ultra injection. You can see actually in the bottom here, there's quite a bit of spices and stuff in that. And you want to shake that up and get it through. Let's see, there we go. You want to shake that up and get it through your gun the best you can. I use the Lumberjack injection gun. We carry it CMXtreme, along with, of course, here's my plug. Everything you see is carried at CMXtreme, except for the turkey. You want to sink that down in there, get your spices and your liquid right up into it. Oop. I think that's good. Oh, we need a little bit more. It's not pulling it up. Here's what I'm going to do. If you encounter problems with pulling it up through the needle, guys, because that does happen, those holes are a little bit smaller at the bottom. You can stick your injection gun head right in there. Doesn't hurt nothing. See how much easier that emptied, or filled, sorry. Filled up real quick. Now by the feeling of this injection, it's got some moistness in it, so it may have a little bit of bird fat in it as well. I'm not sure. It's I'll have to read the instructions, but it does feel like it's got a little bit of some kind of moistening oil in it. So when you inject your bird, what I like to do is I like to go about every inch or so. You're going to stick your needle in, and as you're injecting, you're pulling it out. So you're getting a good coverage. So you go in, you pull the trigger and inject, pull out. In, inject, out. In, start injecting, come out. So as I was saying before, inject, inject, inject. Whoop. Try not to come out like I just did. You can see how much of this stuff's going into this bird, which is great. You can see it juicing out a little bit. See how that grows when you're injecting? Look at that. It's really cool when you're injecting a bird because you can actually watch the meat grow like a flexing muscle. I always kind of liked that part. When you get into your breasts, you can do it top. I like going in from the back because as you saw there, it kind of fills the whole breast at once. I'm just going to refill my injection here. Everybody's got a different way of doing things when they inject a bird. I just like doing it that way. Just it feels like I get more out of my needle. You can see her grow there. I'll reposition deeper into the meat. You can see it kind of pump up. I like to do the legs a little bit because they're always the toughest with the tendons and things. Time to refill again. Okay. Getting back to injecting here. I like to get some into the legs, puff them up. Kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger, we pump you up. Get some into the thighs. You can see this bird is just dripping with juices everywhere now. A little bit into the front here. A little bit right here. And I think we're good. Guess what stage we're ready for now? We're going to put it on the smoker. First, let me take you out there and talk to you about a couple things. Actually, you know what? We'll throw the bird on and talk about a couple things. How's that sound? Okay. I have already placed my little pot of liquid, which I think I told you guys already was orange juice, apple cider vinegar, and chicken broth. I already placed that on the grill. So I'm going to hopefully pick this bird up on my nice CMXtreme Grills cutting board, take it out there and get it on the grill. And I'll go through some things out there with you as well. we're about to take this ostrich out and put it on the smoker. I'll go through some things with you out there and let you know what and why and how and all that. Now, this would be a YouTube blooper when I drop this bird. Man, she's pretty. For me, Les. Okay, guys, here we go. We're out at my big Woodwind Pro 36 by Camp Chef. I've got my extra wood drawer going. You can go on to CMXtreme Grills and join that group to learn more about that. Essentially, I've got the wood drawer burning at the same time as the wood pellets, so I'm doubling up my smoke. So while we're out here, I'm going to plug in my meat probes so that I can keep an eye on this bird while I'm watching TV or doing whatever. I will take a mixture about every 45 minutes or hour. It's just, again, personal preference, my habit. I'll take a mixture in a spray bottle and I'll spritz this bird probably every 45 minutes or so. The reason that I do that is it keeps the skin moist until I'm ready for it to be crispy. And I'll go over temperature in just a minute after I get my meat probes in, and I'll show you guys what that all looks like. Just wanted to point out a couple of things here, guys. I wanted to talk about temperature of cooking. You know, if you look on the internet, there's all sorts of different opinions on this. A lot of people say 225, some say 250, some say 350. I find really it's just personal preference. When I'm doing a bird, a chicken wings, chicken breasts, anything like that with skin on it, I actually, because we take the time and we inject and we brine and we do all of those things, I actually like to cook my turkeys for the first few hours anyways at about 225 to 250. The choice is yours. Everybody varies a little bit. When I start to get to be, let's say around, we want to pull this bird at 165 internal temp, and that's multiple probes in the bird, as I'll show you in a second here. But I like to get to about 150. And then I turn my temperature up to about 325, depending on how the animal, the bird in the cooker is reacting, just to give me that last little crisp up on the skin. But as I said before, about every 45 minutes or so, I'll come out here and I'll spritz this bird with a mixture of beef broth, water, orange juice, and apple cider vinegar. And that just gives us a little more moistness while we're cooking. If I could show you guys something on the Woodwind Pro 24 here, I wanted to direct you to the screen on the main unit. On the pellet hopper. That's got all of my probes running right now. I've got 4 probes in the bird, and the grill actually comes with the 4 probes. That's why I'm a big fan of these Woodwind Pros. That and this. So that's the extra wood drawer that I was telling you guys about. Once you get extra wood chunks over top of your pellet hopper chugging, you can see how much smoke you're getting out of that. So to use that, you simply fill it with wood, crack your flue, get your desired smoke chugging out of them, and away you're cooking. So now we're at the point where I'm going to turn on my app on my phone that has been fantastic and never let me down in 2 years of smoking, which looks incidentally exactly like the controller on the Camp Chef, so there's no confusion. I'm going to watch my temperatures and sit around here and wait to spritz some bird. I'll be back to you with some updates soon. So guys, I'm standing here at the smoker. I'm about to leave and let this bird suffer for a little while. I just wanted to show you, as I spoke to the app before, I just wanted to show you what the app on the phone looks like. To me, it's almost exactly the same. The operation of it is really as easy as a touch and turn and confirm. So there's my phone. You can see all 4 of my probes are cooking right now, and the temperature, the internal temperature of the grill is climbing because we just had the window open for quite a while. But the freedom that this app gives me now is I'm able to, I don't suggest, but I'm able to go back to work and watch the temperatures on this and return and spritz the bird or the brisket or whatever as needed. Safety disclaimer, you should always be home when you're running your smoker for a long cook. The versatility that you do have, in my case, I'll go back to work. Maybe my wife is home. I call her and say, can you spritz it? Or I call her and say, can you take it off because I'm seeing at work that it's ready to come off based on what I've set my goal temperatures on my graphs to. Really cool to check out though, guys. Check out the Camp Chef Woodwind Pro and the app. I've been using it for 2 years. Like I said, I've never had better smoke rings or better flavor out of any pellet grill that I've used, and I've used a lot. So there's my plug. Hey guys, just out here, turkey's still cooking away, or as we're calling it, Jurassic ostrich. Thought I'd just show you how I spritz things. Again, like I said, inside this is apple cider vinegar, orange juice, water, and chicken broth. Very simple. Every so often, just moisten her out just like that. Get all the sides, in the bottom, wings. Try to keep that skin moist. When we get closer to being finished this bird, I'm going to be spritzing it with duck fat again. Hopefully gives that skin even more crisp. We'll see you soon. Take care. Hey guys, Ken here. We're in Ken's Corner. I'm coming back at you with this big ostrich turkey that we've been cooking. We've had it on for about 3.5 hours. Internal temp, the highest one is about 126, 125. So I think we're going to end up ready to eat it by supper time, which is great because the crew will get to try some and everybody else. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek, but first I just wanted to let you guys know that this is what it looks like. This is going to be about half or a little over way half through. And I've been spritzing it about every 45 minutes with my spritz concoction that I told you guys about earlier. So let's take a look at how Jurassic turkey is doing here. She's looking really good. I'm pretty sure it'll be edible. And I'm pretty sure we'll enjoy it. We'll check back in a bit. Take care.
Hey Dad, have you been doing anything out here? Are you actually cooking?
I'm actually cooking. You want to see what I'm cooking?
Yeah?
Come on over. We're calling it the Jurassic turkey. Whoa.
That looks good.
Yeah, it does look good, doesn't it?
Yes.
Maybe you can rope it out of here later for me. Say hi to YouTube.
Hi.
Okay, so here we are. We are at about 7 o'clock at night. We started this 24-pound bird at around noon, I think it was. We've been spritzing. We've been using duck fat on the last few stages instead of my spritz, just to crisp up that skin. We're gonna pull the meat probes on this bird. We're gonna pull it out of the grill and we're gonna bring it inside. We're gonna slice it up and show you guys what it looks like. Hopefully it's really, really good. I got a whole crew to feed, so pray that I don't fail here. Okay, so here we go. Have a look at that bird. That's definitely Texas style barbecue turkey. Looks like that duck fat really did its business on the skin, so it won't be tough, it won't be rubbery, it won't be janky. So I'm gonna just go ahead and pull out my meat probes first, and I've learned this lesson about 800 times. These for meat probes because they're hot. Just so you guys know, while this bird was cooking, I actually cranked it up towards the last stages. I turned it up to 325 degrees just to get her done because everybody's waiting for me to get this thing done, and it was taking quite a while. I usually do that anyways. I crank my birds up at the very end just to get that crispy cracked skin that we're seeing. So I'm just gonna do this now. It takes a bit of concentration. Put my meat probes all out. I just let them hang because I'm gonna wash them anyway. I'm really hoping that I can handle this bird two-handed with my tools. Get them onto this big, huge turkey tray right here. Wish me luck. Make sure we're balanced here. We're not going to fall off. So So what I like to do is go in one end, force in the other end. Oh man, that's heavy. Pull her off. I'm gonna have my assistant bring in my tools here. That's my boy Lincoln. We call him Kent Rollins. I'm just gonna set this here for a second. As you can see, she's expanded out good. Looks like she's cooked good. Hog rings held that we put there earlier, so the wings were heavy, but we put 2 and we made it look very picturey. So we're gonna bring it in, we're gonna get some more pictures of this thing. We're gonna carve it up, and then the crew's gonna eat it and hopefully not slay me for it sucking. Let's go in. Thank you, Lincoln. Fantastic. Oh, Lord. Okay. So you can see we got the skin cracked out. The skin is nice and thin on it. You can see as I push here, you can see the juices just flowing out of the thing. I think this is going to be a really good bird. We haven't even cut in yet and we got juice flowing out everywhere. So one thing that I like to do just for company's sake is to pull my hog rings out. And that's real simple. Once a bird is cooked, you just grab it with your hog ring pliers that we put it in with earlier. There's no chance of anything getting in people's mouths that should not be there. Okay, so a lot of people always ask me, well, how do you carve the bird? How do you get everything separated? How do you do this? How do you do that? Everybody has a different technique. I think my technique is I get my knife and I just start cutting. So I try to get the leg twine off, which I'm gonna do with this guy, I think. Some leg twines are tougher than others, but there we go. I got that guy off, and now we're free to start carving. So we're gonna start doing that, and we're gonna really hope for the best here. I'm gonna start with the Delstrong Pitmaster knife that one of my production crew so graciously supplied for us. Okay, so what I usually like to do, guys, is I start with the legs and I just cut the skin around the legs a little bit so that I can separate them and start working on joint separation. Tonight, most people are kind of looking for white meat, so we're going to start with the breasts, but we're going to get these legs a little bit separated off. Now, the Delstrong knives are fantastic for their sharpness and their flexibility when you're cutting breast or whatever you're cutting and taking the dark meat off. You will need a hard knife to get the joints separated. I'm going to try to make this look good for video, but it's not really an awesomely pretty process. So we're going to get into here. I'm going to quarter this. I'm going to try to get to the joint. I'm going to find it. There it is. And this is how we're going to take a leg off. This is how we start our carving process. This is how you're going to start the dark meat. You always want to separate your legs, and then you got your thighs underneath. You open this up this way, and then you can start to carve the meats from the thighs, the legs, everything for the platter that you're going to serve on. Big trick that people don't really realize is separating that joint on from the leg to the thigh. You get right in there, and you can actually kind of probe in there and find it with your blade. As you guys can see here from the top view, I found it right here and I barely nicked it. That's just experience. You got to play around and probe and find where that is. First thing I want to do here though in this video, try that out, buddy. That's the skin.
It's good.
Really good?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so now I'm going to just separate a wing, and then I'm going to start working on the breast area here, okay? So it's the same thing with the wing, guys. You basically want to find that joint, jam your knife into the middle of it. It's not always as pretty as it looks. And pull that wing off. Because what you want to do is you want to get all this good dark meat out with your knife and your fork later. There's still going to be a hip bone over here that you can get into and just separate out just like that. So now we've got all this wonderful dark meat right here that we can start carving. And then we're going to start carving the white meat out, and then we're gonna plate it, and we're all going to eat. and you guys are going to get to see some reviews on how everything tasted for everybody. So like I said, no real technical way of doing this. Just find the cuts you want, start cutting them, start plating them. It's never a bad idea that the turkey's resting while we're cooking a bit, or while we're cutting, sorry, or we're cutting a bit. I always like to plate it with dark and light meat. I like to get right in down here. This meat here is one of my favorites, at the back part of the hip. And side bonus, you get some skin. So I'm just going to keep cutting here. I'm going to keep grabbing skin. Like I said, it's a bit of an art form, but it always works out. Always try to throw some skin in with your dark meat. People really seem to like that. I don't know. I know Lincoln, one of Lincoln's favorite things is the skin.
Yeah.
So I always try to make sure that I put that kind of front and center for him. It looks like we got a really good coverage of injection into our meat. It's very juicy. It's very nice. It's cutting tender. The legs are always going to be just a little more. I wouldn't say that they're tough, but when you barbecue and you smoke a turkey, it's really hard to get that meat quite as tender as the breast, because it is on the outside, as you can see right here. I'm just going to cut a full piece off. As you can see, this is on the outside, so it's going to have a little more dryness in it off of a smoker, just because it's on the outside. And you can kind of see right here when you look at the skin how it's darker there. But that meat is going to be really good. Lincoln, you want to do another sample?
Yeah.
There you go.
Ooh, it's hot.
Hot, hot, hot. And like I said, just keep cutting. Throwing meat in piles is basically what I call it. What do you think of that leg meat, bud?
That's really good.
Good. One thing you're going to notice if you get a good turkey is you're going to have lots of tendons in these legs and stuff. So it takes a little bit of work to get the good meat out of there, the good dark meat, just because this is where they walk, right? This is where they run. Those tendons, try not to cut that into your meat. So what I like to do, make a nice high pile of dark meat like that. Depending on how many people you have, you might do both sides. You might do both thighs. You might do both legs. You might pull the wings. You might try to separate all this off the wings. And now we're going to start trying to look at what we got here for breast meat. I always start on the outside, just smooth, easy motions, back and forth. You can see the juice hanging out right in this meat. That's going to be a good chunk of meat right there. Plus the first cut has always got the skin. You can see it flowing out of the turkey. Flowing out of the turkey like that means we did a pretty good job at our injection. Oh, see here? You guys see this? The juice right there? That's from the injection. And again, a big bird, so hard to keep it moist, especially with how big it was. But I think the injection is going to help this thing a lot with flavor and with moistness. So when you're cooking a bird, it's different than beef, obviously. You're not going to get a knuckle deep smoke ring like you do on a brisket. But I just want to illustrate this section right here. You guys can see that this smoke ring is as thick as the pitmaster's end, all the way around the meat, and a little thicker in some areas. You see that pink section? Some people might mistake that for bird not being done. They've never had bird off of a smoker, but that's what I always try to get, is about that much of a smoke ring. Okay, should we go ahead and get some salad and some stuff and eat this? Okay guys, let's do some eating.
Something up fishy.
It's really good.
What?
There you go.
Yummy.
little partial to my little bit sweet and spicy, so I put a little bit of Blues Hog Tennessee Red on here. Let's give this a try. Let's see how they do. Yep, I think that's a win. You guys agree? Is it a win? Nice. So here we are, guys. The turkey was a win. Everybody likes it. I've tried it. I like it as well. Thank you to everybody for coming and filming, bringing salad. Austin and Shaylee, thank you so much. Mayor Bear and Spicy Noodles, thank you so much for production. This turkey is really good. Take care. Okay, guys, so here is our final review of the turkey that we did today. We have some thoughts, but first I wanted to ask Austin. He's one of the producers of the video, along with the team here that's been fantastic and supportive. What did you think today? What did you think of that bird?
I thought it was very good in an all-around sense. It was very juicy to me.
Yeah.
I cooked a few myself, and that was about where I was expecting it. My favorite part was the rubs we used.
Yeah.
Right? That garlic butter and the holy cow.
Yeah.
From Meat Church and the Keith Rowell was the garlic butter, right?
Yeah.
Those were game changers for me.
So I got some thoughts on it. I'm probably my worst critic. You know, I've cooked a lot of turkeys. I've cooked a lot of turkeys on smokers. Today we went outside of my realm a little bit. We did it differently than I would usually do it. I would say that the big wins today for me was the duck fat. Using that as your binder was a game changer on the skin. The skin was really great. We had a huge turkey. It had thick skin. It was still edible. You know, that turkey was not a butterball. It was not a processed turkey. That was a straight off the farm, 24-pound ostrich. It was just a beast. I thought I was going to have to fist that thing from both sides to bring it in. I agree with Austin. I think the Heath Riles garlic butter rub combined with the Holy Gospel, and as you guys saw earlier in the video, I wanted the Holy Gospel just for the color, but the flavor that added to that turkey and the way that it soaked in was great. I would say something that I would change a little bit is when we injected it. So the Motley Q poultry injection, I think the flavor was fantastic. The problem with it is the gun that I had. You're probably going to see some bloopers. I'm sure the team's going to put that in there. The injection gun that I had, the orifices were just a little bit too small for the spices that were coming through that injection. The injection was quite oily, but I think that added some moisture to the meat. I would do it again. If you have a small injection gun like I was using today, then you're going to want to strain out a bit of what's going on in that bottle. You know, the gun itself just wasn't quite built with the orifices at the head of that injection gun. Wasn't quite built for things to go through it, like the spices and stuff. Previously, I've used the Meat Church poultry injection. That stuff, once you liquefy it, it goes in there like gold. I think, in my opinion, I would prefer that. However, the Motley Q, with the addition of the cooking oils that are in that, I think adds a little extra moisture, which is an easy sacrifice to get a bigger orifice on your gun. Like I said, the duck fat and the combination of those two spices were great. I'm going to stick with my tried and true technique of stuffing fruit up there. You know, a lot of people stuffing up there, and I think, you know, in my opinion, don't hate me on YouTube, people, but in my opinion, you put bread in a turkey, it's pulling the juices out of the meat. And that's just my opinion. So make your stovetop stuffing separately, in my opinion. There's lots of people out there that can make a heck of a turkey with stuffing in it, and it's probably going to be better than mine. But the other thing that I would say in my review of the whole cook, because this bird took a long time, as I told you guys earlier, it was about 12 o'clock to, I think it was just shortly after 7 when we reached internal temp. Again, the meat was tender, it was juicy, the cuts were good, everything was good. But if I was to do a 24-pound bird again, I think what I would do is, rather than start it at my usual 225, which is usually what I start my chickens and my regular size grocery store turkeys at, I think I would start that turkey at 250 and go up from there. The only reason is, and the team didn't say, and they didn't notice, again, my own worst critique, I felt like the dark meat on the outside was just a little bit too rubbery, and that can happen with poultry if you're cooking it too long, too low. So I would just bump it up 25 degrees, and then in the last 15 degrees, bump it to 350, give it that crisp. Other than that, I really enjoyed the turkey. It was tender, it was flavorful. Everybody ate all of their turkey. We don't have as much left over as I thought that we would. I think we only had 6 or 7 people for supper tonight on a 24-pound bird, and there's not a ton of meat left there. So all in all, I feel like we had a success, and I'm happy to be back to YouTube. I'm happy to have the production crew that I do, and I'm really looking forward to doing something that I'm very comfortable with. Keep your eyes out for steak, brisket, chicken wings, ribs. Keep your eyes open, guys. It's coming at you. Take care. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate all the effort that everybody put in here today. You know, we work really hard to make it happen. We appreciate everyone out there. We appreciate your views. We appreciate your feedback. So don't forget to smash those buttons, like and subscribe. So everybody knows that I'm a meat guy. Everybody that knows me knows I'm a meat guy. And here's why. Bam!
Yo, yo, yo. I just want to say this is Ken from CMXtreme Grills, and this turkey was bussin'.